Hello and welcome to my channel. Say hi to a happy day. In this channel, I would like to share tales and stories I personally picked and or my kids' favorite book stories. Let's enjoy listening while I read to you a book. What if tulips are priceless? There was a time when tulips were the most valuable commodity on earth, as the result of a collective insanity in the sophisticated markets of the Netherlands in the 1630s. In a few months in 1636, traders managed to push tulip bulbs up to ruinous prices and then watched with horror while the prices collapsed in a few short weeks in February 1637. This was the first of many disastrous bubbles in various markets that have briefly made those involved wealthy, only to ruin them later, the first of a succession of insane explosions that have carried on into our own day. Tulips only arrived in Western Europe in 1554, and they were not widely cultivated in the Dutch Republic until the 1590s. Within a few years, the bulbs for these distinctive flowers became coveted luxury items for the wealthy traders around Amsterdam who were making a fortune out of the Dutch East Indies. The tulips bloomed only for a week in the spring, and the rest of the time, the bulbs, especially those of the exotic new colors, were traded on the markets. The sophisticated financial traders in Amsterdam soon created a futures market in which investors could buy bulbs in the future at the end of the season. The prices rose steadily and began to rise even faster by 1634, once French speculators became involved. Contracts to buy bulbs at the end of the season were bought and sold in taverns in Amsterdam at very high prices. It was known as wind trade because nothing actually changed hands except for pieces of paper, and by the late summer of 1636, these were changing hands, sometimes at the rate of 10 times a day. Writing 2 centuries later, Scottish journalist Charles Mackay, author of Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds, described how nobles, citizens, farmers, mechanics, seamen, footmen, maidservants, even chimney sweeps and old clothes women doubled in tulips. People of all grades converted their property into cash and invested it in flowers. Houses and lands were offered for sale at ruinously low prices or assigned in payment of bargains made at the tulip mart. Foreigners became smitten with the same frenzy, and money poured into Holland for all directions. The prices of the necessities of life rose again by degrees. Houses and lands, horses and carriages, and luxuries of every sort rose in value with them, and Holland seemed the very antechamber of Plutus. Tulip bulbs suddenly reached extraordinary prices, and the rarest were bought for speculation. Some of them reached prices worth 10 times the average manual worker's wage for a year. Strange stories circulated about people who bought them thinking they were onions, ate them by mistake, and found they had consumed the value of large mansion. By then, the mania had spread to other Dutch cities, and it was in the city of Haarlem that it began to unravel quite suddenly in February 1637 when buyers failed to show up at a regular bulb auction, possibly because there had been an outbreak of bubonic plague. The panic spread, the market for bulbs collapsed, and prices fell to about 100 of what they had been at the height of the frenzy. Modern scholars have wondered whether the classic accounts were correct and have tried to explain what happened. A new law issued by the Dutch Parliament in November 1636 seems to have encouraged speculation by redefining the contracts as options, which meant that people would not actually have to buy the bulbs when the date became due, but would have to compensate the seller for a small percentage of the contract, encouraging traders to believe this was a risk-free investment. I hope you enjoy listening to the book, What If Tulips Are Priceless? Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to listen to more of our favorite book stories. See you soon!